Well, welcome to the Stone Roadie podcast. It's the one you don't want to miss. It stars Craig Reed, the Stone Roadie, and Griff, the rocket scientist. Let's not forget Kathy Godsey and all the old friends that come along. Lord, we'll be talking Skynyrd and leaving you with a song.
Hey guys, thanks for joining the podcast today. Craig's not going to be on the podcast. He's elected not to be on because he wants to make room for our guests that are going to be talking about the Rockin' for a Reason, the event that we're trying to use to raise money for the plane crash survivors. And speaking of that, recently, we had a podcast with a guest, Bon Scott's, a guy that claims to be Bon Scott's son. And there's a big controversy about that. And I had a lot of people attacking me over that, messaging me some really hateful things. And they think I'm some kind of a reporter, some of these people from Australia. And I just kind of wanted to jump on here and before I bring the guests on to talk about the Rockin' for a Reason, and I want you guys to stay for that because there's a lot of information and I want to share that information. Chad Reed, Craig's son's going to be on. He's heading that whole event up. So I just kind of want to clarify a little bit more about me. I don't really want to do this again because it's not anything I want to talk about a lot. And but to clear up some of the misconceptions about me and why I'm here and what I'm doing on this podcast, I need to just go ahead and do that once and for all. I'm not a reporter. This podcast is not meant for anybody to profit, to make money. Craig and I are doing it in hopes to get enough money through YouTube to be able to every month give the plane crash survivors, the Lynyrd Skynyrd plane crash survivors from the 1977 accident, October 20th in Galesburg. We want to give these guys what they deserve, what they never got. And my role in that is really simple. I'm not a Lynyrd Skynyrd freak fan. I never was. I was at the second to last concert that they were when they were in Lakeland, when they performed in Lakeland. I was there. I loved Lynyrd Skynyrd growing up as a kid, but I'm not like a Lynyrd Skynyrd freak person. A lot of people think, oh, you're a Lynyrd Skynyrd freak. Well, I love Lynyrd Skynyrd. They saved my life. And I'm about to explain that and why I always help Lynyrd Skynyrd. And it's because I owe Lynyrd Skynyrd. Believe it or not. There's bad things that happened in the plane crash. Yes, but there were a lot of good things that came from it. And you're looking at one of them right now. I got married to my last wife in 1998, and she was in medical school. And what does this have to do with the Lynyrd Skynyrd plane crash? A lot. So my wife and I, we were happily married, and for some time she was in medical school, and I can't tell you that was a rough time, being married to a woman who was in medical school, traveling around all over the place because she had clinicals and things, and I helped her through it. Well, relationships are crazy, and this was a horrible thing that happened to me in my relationship. Is she ended up leaving me for a doctor once she got through her medical school, and it was, I just can't tell you how devastated that was for me. Devastating. I kind of went into, I've never suffered from depression or anything, but I went into this funk. And so I kind of did like Forrest Gump when he was jogging all over the place because Jenny left him. Well, that was me. That was me on a bicycle. I jumped on a bicycle and I just started riding hundreds of miles. I mean, I was like, every day I would get on that bike and I would just ride. And so after my wife was gone and we were divorced and I was just riding away, one Sunday morning I got up and I had gotten probably a couple miles from my house before I realized that I didn't have my helmet on. And I used to wear a welder's cap to kind of keep the sweat from rolling in my eyes. And that made me think I had my helmet on, but I didn't. Long story short, I was going down the River Road in Titusville, Florida, and I don't remember anything about it, but a car hit me, and it was a hit and run, and they left me for dead, and a jogger found me on the side of the road. It was a really horrible time in my life. I'd gone through losing my wife. I just got hit by this car, and it was blunt force trauma. I had a major head injury. It did something to my back. It did something to my hips, but it didn't happen right away. And I didn't realize, what blunt force trauma can do for you until I started talking to Mark Howard, because Mark Howard, he was a lighting guy and he was on the plane when it went down in Galesburg, and he didn't have these injuries at first either. It took a while to manifest these injuries, and then he started having hip troubles, and then he started getting surgeries, and it was the same thing that happened to me. And through Lynyrd Skynyrd, I got so many answers, and the way that came about was, and it was really profound, because I, had all of these aches and pains and things that I couldn't put my finger on. My back hurt, my hips hurt. So they said, well, we're going to have to start testing you for things, And so I went through 22 MRIs in 5 different facilities. And the crazy thing about it that started this whole thing was I'm very claustrophobic. And before I would go into the MRI machine, they would put music on for me on some headphones so I could listen to music to distract me. Excuse me. And so every time that they would roll me in there with these headphones on, a damn Lynyrd Skynyrd song would come on. And I was like, at first I didn't pick up on it, but then it was like, why is it, I'm in 5 different facilities. These are different companies. They're not the same place. It's not like they've got the same music set list that they're playing. I mean, this was like crazy. I would hear a Lynyrd Skynyrd song, and it got me thinking about the plane crash. I was incapacitated, man. I was on a walker, on a cane at my house. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. My life was just ruined. I was in pain all the time, on pain medications. And I was searching for answers. And that Lynyrd Skynyrd message that got me thinking about that plane crash was it was biblical to me. I mean, I can't tell you why it happened, but it did. And I started watching a documentary because of that on Lynyrd Skynyrd on TV. And this is when it all turned around for me, when I saw Gene Odom on this documentary. And this guy was injured. I mean, he looked like a mummy. He was wrapped up. He lost his eye. He had a major head injury. He had significant burns on his body, broke his back. I can't tell you the injuries this guy went through. But I saw him on this documentary, and he's walking around like nothing ever happened. And I said, how did these guys get their lives back? How did they come through this plane crash and start the tribute band up? How were they able to overcome these injuries? I need to know this because I need to do it myself. So I had to meet Gene Odom, and I found his email and somehow, and I emailed him, and the guy called me. And I was like thinking, this is crazy, you know, that this guy would even call me. You know, he didn't know me from Adam, but what a cool guy. When I talked to him the first time I talked to Gene on the phone, you know, he said, well, hey, I do a West Side tour, you know. I told him, I said, well, I'd like to come up and do that with you, but I can't sit in a car for extended period of time. You know, my back, I've got these injuries, you know. And he said, yeah, I know a little something about that. He said, well, what are you doing right now? I said, well, I'm just sitting here in my chair. And he goes, well, how long have you been in your chair? And I said, probably a couple hours. And he goes, well, what the hell's the difference in sitting in your chair for a couple hours and sitting in the seat of a car for a couple hours? The only difference is when you get to Jacksonville and you get up, you're in Jacksonville, you know, after your car ride, whereas you're in your lazy boy now. When you get up, you're still in your house. You know, that made sense to me. I was like, yeah, I mean, okay. So he talked me into it. That changed my life, going to see Gene Odom in Jacksonville and hanging around with that guy and seeing how he didn't give up. And it was all about, for me, I had given up. You know, I resolved myself to the fact that I was a cripple. Gene Odom don't give up. And that guy just got me moving. And the first thing I did was I loved the oil paint. And so I found out about the story of Lynyrd Skynyrd that I didn't know, like the Hell House and where they practiced. And Gene took me there, you know, and it inspired me to paint the Hell House. I wanted to bring the Hell House back through a painting. And so I painted that painting. I didn't realize that that painting would go viral. And, you know, it got me moving. The people, you know, they were celebrating things and they were having parties, and I was invited to these parties because of that painting, and I would go and visit with people, and before I knew it, I was moving, I was up around again, and I was getting my life back. And my painting was ending up on T-shirts and all kinds of things, and people were like wanting it. And you know, the Lynyrd Skynyrd fans are like a big family, you know, a big, great family, because it's such a cool story. You know, these guys came from rags to riches, and, you know, they lost everything and they started again. And it's, for a lot of people, it's just a story, but for me, it was an inspiration, and it saved my life. And so, why am I on the podcast? It's to give back. It's to give back because when I went through what I went through, and I was able to overcome, and I saw all these people that were on the plane that it ruined their lives, and they aren't doing as well as me, like Mark Howard and Paul Welch, Mark Frank, Gene Odom, Leslie Hawkins. These people, when that plane crashed, it ruined their lives, and they have been through hell. Gene is still going through hell, and I have my times as well. But I think I'm lucky, considering, I mean, I wasn't in a plane crash. I got hit by a car. It was a horrible thing, but I was able to overcome. And I think that because of those people, what they're going through and what I was able to overcome, I need to help them, and nothing's going to get in my way of that. So that's why I do the podcast. I'm not a reporter, you know, I'm just an aircraft mechanic that worked for NASA for 35 years. They call me a rocket scientist. I did some really cool things. You know, I had a great, wonderful career, and it you know, the ending to my career was I was a cripple, and now I'm not. So I'm paying it forward. And that's why I'm here. And that's what I want to do. And it's not that Craig and I are trying to profit. We're trying to help the survivors, because people like Mark Howard, who has just recently gone through a horrible experience with some physical issues, and now he's got a bunch of doctor bills he can't pay. People jump Craig's ass about the funeral brochure. How could he sell that funeral brochure, from Gary's funeral like that? Well, guess what? That money is going to Mark Howard now. Mark Howard is getting the money from that funeral brochure, and he's going to be getting some more money too once we do this Rockin' for a Reason. And the podcast, when it starts getting better and we start making more money, we're going to start helping the survivors, because they were never helped. They were left to fend for themselves after they went through a terrible plane crash, and they were forgotten. These are forgotten people. These were people that were working. They weren't in the rock band. They were working. They weren't just drug addicts going around partying. They were on a plane going to their job, and the plane crashed, and they were forgotten. And so now they're in their older years, their injuries are catching up with them, their bills are mounting, and they need help. And if I can do it, I'm going to do what I can to help. And Craig is too. Craig understands. He was on the plane. He knows what it was like, what he went through, the things he saw. And people that don't like Craig, he's a matter-of-fact guy. But horrific things that happen to you change you, and they make you a certain way. And Craig's the way he is because he traveled the world with a rock band. He was an alcoholic. He was a drug addict. And then he got in a plane crash. But he's trying to do the right thing. So people need to understand that, and they need to support. And the best thing you can do is like and subscribe. That's all you got to do. And show up for events if you can, like Rockin' for a Reason. It's a great tribute. The money's going to the right place. Gene Odom started it. Chad Reed is organizing it, Craig's son. We're going to have Chad on here in a few minutes with some guests. We're going to talk about everything you need to know as far as the event, how you can go, what it's going to cost, what's going to be there. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for listening to my story. I really don't like to tell it or talk about it, but I felt like I needed to, because I want people to understand who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's good for me, and it's good for the people that I can help. So that's why I'm doing it. That's why Craig's doing it. We appreciate all you guys subscribing and liking, and we're going to move on now to the next part of the podcast. We're going to bring in Chad and our guests, and you guys stay tuned, because it's some really great information, and you're going to want to go to this tribute. So thank you for listening, and stand by for Chad Reed and the guests coming up. Thank you very much. Right. Okay, here we are on the Stone Roadie show. The Stone Roadie, Craig Reed. He opted out because he wanted everybody to have a slot that's participating here in this podcast. We got ZAC Lane, Chad Reed, and Brandon Miller, Slicks and Revolver, the band, and the son of Chad Reed, and of course myself, the Stoned Roadie co-host, Griff Martin. What was that? A little pile of doo-doo you had there, Brandon? So, yeah, we wanted to bring these guys on here today because there's a lot of information that we want to get out about the Rockin' for a Reason on July 29th. We want to make sure everybody has all the information that they need about how to get tickets, what's going to happen at the show, what your money's buying. If you got any questions, we're hoping that by the end of this podcast, it'll all be answered. So Chad Reed is heading up the event. He's he's doing a lot of work on, it's harder than you think, people just show up and they enjoy, but Chad has to put it all together. And then, of course, Brandon and ZAC, they're going to be playing in their band and they're coming down. And, hey, what you guys been up to, Brandon? What you been up to, buddy?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So we already too.
Can you hear me, Brandon?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, what you been up to with your band, Slicks and Revolver? What's going on, man?
Well, officially as of yesterday, our album will be out next Wednesday on June, was it 7th or 9th? It's one of those. It's on my social media. I can't remember exact one, but yeah, we got the record finished and mastered. Just got the masters back about 3 days ago, and so I got everything uploaded for distribution. It's officially confirmed. So yeah, you'll be able to hear the record and hear ZAC tear it up on some songs, and I think there's something on this record for everybody, no matter what kind of genre of music you love. There's a song on here, and so we're looking forward to getting this record out, hitting the road, touring it and playing it, and seeing where it's gonna go.
I heard a little something about you guys are playing in Sturgis.
Yeah, we got asked by a I can't say who it is right now because they asked me not to because they're still trying to get contracts established or some shit. But yeah, we were asked by a group out of Dallas, Texas to come fill in with them because 2 of their guitarists can't make it. So they asked if me and Zach would come and fill in for them for 3 shows up in Sturgis. And I've never even played Sturgis. I've been looking forward to doing that for years, actually. And I was really surprised to get that phone call. And then Zach and said he could go and do it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I heard that the current Skynyrd band that's out there playing is going to be there, and REO Speedwagon and several other big bands. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool. So as far as the July 29th Rockin' for a Reason event, what can the people that are attending that venue, what are they going to be seeing with Slicks and Revolver? What kind of songs are you going to be playing?
Well, we'll be doing our record in its entirety from start to finish, including the 2 covers that are on it. We're also going to do a set of Southern rock classic covers, some Molly Hatchet and 38 Special, and a Skynyrd set. And I'm looking forward to seeing Zach play Tuesday's Gone because he can fucking nail Gary's parts.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to watching him get his Gary. And let me go talk to Tanner real quick because tell anybody what we're going to do, but I can guess we're doing Southern rock.
I hear a little background noise. Somebody got some people talking in the background.
I have a wife. which I will not be asking her not to do anything inside of the house. I want to live past this podcast. Everything she's good.
Okay. I understand. I think by what you just said, maybe she heard it, and then now you're not in trouble.
You're able to know. I mean, there's a reason why I've been married for 20 years.
Yeah, there you go, man. I guess I need to come over and start taking lessons because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
I'm writing a book.
Zach, what have you been up to, man? You just been practicing?
Hitting it hard on TikTok like always. Doing live streams. You can catch those if you haven't seen those on Monday and Friday. Same as my video schedule. So I do that at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, back to Chad. Okay, Chad. Let's get started on some information about this Rockin' for a Reason. I know that there has been other Rocking for a Reasons in the past, and this is like number 3 or something. Number 4. Yeah.
The
Jimmy
cool thing
Withers.
is Rocking for Reason.
Yeah. So what now? Let's go ahead and start with where's it going to be?
The Armory on Normandy Boulevard, Jacksonville, Florida. Don't have the exact address on me right here. No. Somebody else probably does. The place is a really nice, big place. We're bringing in a really big stage, light show, sound. a backstage area where the some of the survivors will be there, some of the rescuers will be there. The people from Mississippi and the memorial, they're coming out. They're bringing some artifacts with them. I don't want to get into all of the names because most of them are confirmed. A couple of them are still on the table. But
when you say artifacts, we're talking about plane crash parts, right?
So apparently they were just out there this weekend and found some beer cans that shouldn't be out there, and a couple other things. He's bringing out autographed pictures. I believe he's going to have a silent auction he's going to be putting up that we're going to have during the show. There's a lot of stuff. We're having food trucks out there, and the backstage area is going to have their own dinner plates. Everybody's going to get a free on the VIP side. They're going to get a free dinner and a free drink of their choice.
What does a general admission ticket cost?
The general admissions will go on sale July 3rd after 10 o'clock, I believe, and those are $35.
And how do I get a ticket?
On all of the advertisement that we have a website on there. It's a direct link through it's called Stinger. Think of it kind of like a Ticketmaster. You go on there, you purchase your ticket. There will be no door purchases of cash. If you're going to get in at the door, you will have to go to that actual website and show proof of purchase on your phone.
Okay, well, what I'll do is I'll put up on the supportsurvivors.net the link so people can go and get the ticket there if they want. They can get the link off of supportsurvivors.net. That's the official Stone Roadie page that I have up there, and I'll have Rockin' for a Reason, and you can click on that. And if you guys want to get to that link, just go to supportsurvivors.net. So a general admission ticket that gets you in, and you can see anything as far as the bands go, and you can have access to the food trucks. And is there going to be some beer there?
It's going to be beer sales in the back and in the front. The back area is going to be for the VIP area. And that gives you a back area that walks back behind the stage. There's a big open area in the back. We're going to have the food set up and the alcohol that you can or the beers that you can purchase.
So exactly how much does a VIP ticket cost?
The VIP tickets are $100. And that comes with a dinner and a drink. These days you can knock that down to $70. And like I said, it gives you all the access to meet all the people that are going to be involved with it. It's a real cool thing for the memorial people to be coming down here. It's kind of bringing Mississippi to Jacksonville, along with some of the stuff that, shouldn't have left Jacksonville. So, to me, the opportunity to meet one of the rescuers is one of the biggest things that I'm mostly the most excited about. I've been wanting to meet Dwayne Easley for a long time and haven't had the chance to get to Mississippi, and he's coming down here. So that's to me, that's really cool.
Yeah. And I can add that this thing is kind of growing legs as far as there's new ideas happening every day. So
every day, every minute of the day, I get 50 phone calls a day from people that are wanting to be involved with it, people asking that if they can be involved with it, if we have more rooms for other acts. And, that's another thing. We have a really limited time frame that we have to work with through the contract of the building that's being leased. And, there's going to be security there. With the contract, we have to have security there. It's an armory. So there's going to be plenty of security there. There's going to be areas roped off. So there's a lot of things that have to go into it to do it correctly. And it's going to be a fun time though, man. Hey, listen, people talk about Skynyrd all the time. A lot of the Skynyrd fans have never had the opportunity to see Rossington and Collins in concert either. And Rossington and Collins was just as loud and just as powerful and just as driveful as Skynyrd was. It had the full punch to it. To get an opportunity to see some of these young kids from this area and all these kids coming over from around the United States, really, to get an opportunity to see some of these kids come up here and play those songs and bring the power and the drive back to that music as well. Southern Rock is Jacksonville, man. Ross and Collins have been, forgotten about. Nobody's really seen them live, and they put on a great show. And I'm expecting to get the same feel and the same drive out the guys that we have coming out.
Yeah, and a lot of people were kind of upset because they didn't get to go to Whitey's, and they heard about how great it was. This is going to be like Whitey's on steroid. We had a good time there, didn't we, Zach and Brandon? We
did.
Man, you guys were dialed in that night, and everybody was just it was, I think it was Gary's presence, man. I mean, it was just so cool. And so what's the lineup there at Rockin' for a Reason? Who are we going to be seeing, Chad?
All right, so during the meet and greet with the survivors, the people coming from Mississippi, during that time, we're going to have an acoustic guitar player, Bobby Sanders, the rockabilly Bobby Sanders.
Yeah, great guy, man. Great guy, great player. Really,
well, he did the Return of the Survivors too during my dad's films.
Yeah, it was awesome. I invited him in for that. He was up on stage and he was playing during the films. And you could go on YouTube and look that up, and you can see him. The guy, he almost doesn't even need a PA. He's just so large with his vocals, and he plays that guitar so loud. I mean, he's just awesome. You're going to really enjoy that. So you got him. Who's next?
Well, unfortunately, we have a PA, and it's really expensive, and we have I had to get a stage big enough to hold, I told him, up to 10 to 11 musicians. So it's going to be a full stage, man, in a nice backup area. And then right after that, we're going to have Mike Owens. His band's going to come out. They're going to start. They're going to start off and really kick off with some Lynyrd Skynyrd stuff and drive in a hard Lynyrd Skynyrd set. Then following that, I can never remember Melissa's band's name, and I apologize for that. But Sweet Melissa is an extraordinary, great female vocalist in Jacksonville. She is just she's exciting to watch. She puts on a great stage presence. Her band, and she's got some great players in that band. But they're a very powerful, soulful style band. I don't know if she's doing any Skynyrd songs. I haven't talked to her about her set list yet, but it's a really powerful set. Following that, we're going to have a Rossington Collins. It's an 8-song Rossington Collins set, all Rossington Collins band. We're bringing in Derek Hess is supposed to be here. We're bringing in Sadie Davis from Jacksonville Beach. She's a 17-year-old singer that plays around here at a lot of different places. It'd be nice to get some young blood up there to do some great vocals. Dale was no joke. Following that, we're going to finish it off with the boys right here, Slicks and Revolver. And just to let everybody know, once the show's over, we have limited time to get you out of there with the State Highway Patrol traffic and everything. The show's over. We got to go. There's a lot of cleaning up to do after this is over.
Yeah,
it's a strict time frame that we're going by. So look for the tickets, look for the advertisement online. It shows what the time frame is, but I think it's from like 7 to 11.
Is Derek Hess going to be playing drums?
From what I understand from the communications that we've had with his people, is that he is going to be there and he is expected to play a song too. I don't know if he gets into it, plays the whole thing, but
yeah, for those of you that don't know Derek Hess, he was the drummer for Rossington Collins, and that guy's a phenomenal drummer. So yeah, looking forward to that. So okay, cool. What about like places to stay? like hotels and things like that. Isn't there like a whole string of hotels right there on this Normandy, right?
Yeah, it's Normandy.
Yeah, so there's
it's
plenty.
the west side. It's the west side. There are some areas if you go farther, if you go to like Orange Park, which is only 15, 20 minutes away from there, there's some nicer areas out there, but it's the west side. So,
and we're doing our best to get Leslie Hawkins too. We got somebody working on that. We're hoping that she'll be there. Of course, you know, she was a original backup singer for the original Lynyrd Skynyrd. So we're in the process of trying to get in touch with her. Gene Odom, he'll be there. We're hoping that I do hear that Mark Frank's coming, plane crash survivor. We're trying to get Mark Howard, Paul Welch, and of course Craig's going to be there. So you guys, you might want to bring your Sharpie and then get ready, because it takes a long time for Craig to sign an autograph, but he makes them nice and neat. So you guys get you a VIP pass, and then you can get those guys to sign the back of that pass. That'd be really cool. We've already got the passes. So that being said, we're looking forward to Slicks and Revolver. I think, hey, Zach, you look like you're turning into a cartoon, man.
Am I again?
When
That's not on me this time.
When we first logged in, he had a filter on and he was a cartoon, and we were cracking up at that. Okay, well, you got anything else that you want to say, Chad?
Yeah, one more thing. You know, it takes money to put on a benefit like this. We're expected to raise some good money for these people. But it does take money. That's why we're putting tickets up so soon. There's a lot of bills that we need to pay in order for everything of this to go off. I don't think it's going to be an issue or a problem. But we do have to front the money for the stage and the food trucks and for the alcohol and everything else. So the faster you guys can order the tickets, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, and you know, all these proceeds are going to the survivors, so it's not a money maker for anybody. And Zach
Griff,
and
Brandon,
you know,
speaking about that, you know, my dad has his little fund that he's been having going on personally with the survivors, and which I forget which one it was. It just had some.
It was Mark Howard, yeah.
Mark Howard was having some issues, and my dad actually just sent Mark Howard the check from the
funeral brochure. The
funeral brochure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I had done a little pre-video before this, and I explained a lot about that. So, yeah, that's a good thing, you know, and when you guys watch this podcast, please go down and subscribe, because the subscriptions are what get us paid. And that money, you know, is what we want to get to the survivors. And I think you're working on a live feed or something, aren't you, Chad?
Correct. We're going to try to put on a live feed for people that can't make it. We noticed that with the Whitey's Fish House or Fish Camp. It got a lot of views on Facebook or Facebook, on YouTube. So we're going to try to get a live feed going directly to the Stone Roadie channel. And that way, when you guys go on there and actually watch that live, anything that goes through the Stone Roadie channel will get a profit. Those checks are going to the survivors, you know. And this is really about some of these people are having some issues, and we're trying to give people a great show, a great time. But you know, in the same mean that we're trying to raise money for some people going through hard times.
And we're still pretty far out from the actual show. So we'll come back again and we'll have updates, and you guys can come back and we can talk about any changes or anything like that.
Every time we have an update, we're putting a new video together and sending it out in the update. So I got to give a shout out to Automotive about that. He's putting videos out there. Anytime something comes up, we get guaranteed solid stuff. We're putting out in the videos. We just don't want to tell people that somebody's going to be there and there's one person doesn't show up, and
right.
We look
well,
bad, so
I think it's going to get better every day, you know. So
it like I said, it has 4 or 5 phone calls of people trying to contribute stuff today to help out.
Yeah, and Zach and Brandon, hey man, we appreciate you guys because I know you guys aren't getting paid for this, so we appreciate your efforts coming down, and even Bobby Sanders is volunteering. So there's some people I think we have to pay, but that's just the way it is. But for the most part, it's mostly volunteered stuff, and but there's still a lot of expenses. And Chad, we appreciate you working this thing, man. And we had to assign one person to it. There was too many
it was
Indians.
not voluntary. Unlike them, it wasn't voluntary.
Right.
And I'm not being paid either. It was kind of.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of T-shirts there too. There's going to be some cool T-shirts to buy, and so you guys bring your designated driver because there's going to be some alcohol there, and make sure that you have a place to stay and a way to get there. So that's about all I can think of, unless anybody's got anything else.
Zach, you want to talk, buddy?
Well, I was actually going to bring up for all the Stone Roadie fans out there, next Saturday, Six Gun, my band, my hometown band, has a show, and Chad and Otto, Automotive, and Craig they're coming in. And for everybody that lives in kind of the Bristol, Virginia area, Johnson City, Raleigh, North Carolina, anywhere around the Tri-City area, anywhere in the United States, now is your chance around this area to come meet the Stone Roadie and Chad and come watch us play. It'll be a good time. There's alcohol there. It's always a packed house when we play it, so it'll be a cool little gig.
I tell you what, give me the information, Zach, when we get off here, and I'll put it all up on the supportsurvivors.net so people can go to it. And what's the date on that?
That'll be June 10th.
June 10th. That's not that far from now.
No, it's next week. So next weekend. And that'll be at Lakeview Marina is the name of the venue. Marker 2 Grill, they call it that too. So
okay, cool. And you get to see Zach's local band.
Yeah,
Zach, you're a busy guy, man.
I am.
We have Tanner's graduation on our graduation party on Thursday, graduation on Monday, and then we're driving out to go see Zach on Friday.
Yeah, you're going to be busy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you guys for coming on, and thanks for the information, Chad. We had a little bit of some technical issues. I had to, whenever you have a problem and you're labeled a rocket scientist, you're also labeled a dumbass if you can't get it fixed in time.
We're on T minus 2 hours just trying to get on the show.
Oh
today,
my
guys.
God. Yeah. Because usually Craig runs the Zoom meeting and, he's got everything ready to go. And I haven't been on my Zoom program in so long, and it kicked me out. I had to re-log in, and then I had an unstable connection, and I had to go reboot the router. And oh my God, it was a nightmare. So I might have to go drink a couple beers when I get done here. Plus, I've been getting attacked a lot lately by a lot of people. Just remember,
we lost our sponsorship to Bud Light.
Yeah, that's okay though. We don't care, man. What are you drinking there, Chad? That ain't a Bud Light.
Oh, I had to switch. Hey, listen, it took me about 3 months to figure out a beer of how to switch to Busch, and I settled on Coors Light. So Coors Light, if you're out there,
you don't want to be drinking that in public. Or maybe you do. I don't know. All right, guys. Hey, it's good. It's good seeing you guys on here, and as soon as we get more information, we'll let you know, and then we'll be back again next Wednesday with Craig Reed.
Get them tickets as soon as you can, though. Don't hold off to the last minute. That hurts us.
Yeah, I'll get the link put up there right away on the page, and you guys go on there and start buying tickets, and it kind of gives Chad an idea too of what he needs to do, so and
the more VIP tickets I sell, the more it goes to the survivors as well.
Yeah, $100. I mean, don't look at it like, it's a ripoff, and you're at Disney World or something, you know, and you're not getting as much as you would at Disney World or whatever, because this is a donation, man. It's going to, and everybody loves Skynyrd, and they know that these survivors are in trouble and they need some help. So look at it like that. I think you'll get your money's worth.
And nobody else, and that's why I don't want any money change of hands or anything. All the money goes into a special account that's not
right
with anybody that's involved with anything. It goes into a special account that's ready to go to that. So, you know, there is, when you get the tickets online like this is the way that we know that it goes to the right spot.
Yeah, Chad hired a actual professional ticket collector. So that's what you got there. You don't need to worry about any shady business. So, all right, guys, appreciate you coming on, and we'll be seeing you the 29th or probably before, because we'll bring you back on with more information. All righty. See you guys.
Later on.
Later.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep trucking until then. Yeah, the road's stony.